We start the story with a lovely young lady that seems very mentally stable. While she walks us through an abandoned city and into a giant building, it is revealed her name is Boar. Luckily, we get a backstory of how this busty, well-drawn woman became a dual-wielding gunman. Back in the past, Inu was put through vicious training, where she had to survive and kill assassins coming at her from all sides, and needless to say, she was pretty good at doing so. However, her father wasn't as impressed because she didn't kill the guy. So when the time came to pick the next fighter from his family to take part of the future Zodiac tournament taking place after 12 years, he chose her younger sister as the Boar. But young Miss Busty didn't take too kindly to that choice. So for the next 12 years, she tormented her sister by making her not only kill assassins, but also friends, till she broke and started killing mindlessly at home. Hence, with no other choice, the Father of the Year put her in a cage like the wild animal she is, which wasn't enough for Ino, who needed to make sure that her sister won't be around when the tournament starts. Therefore, she passed a knife for the mentally deranged cutie to end herself. And thus, here we are at the top of the tower, with other members representing their own families or culture. She spots one of the contenders already dead, but nobody gives a damn. An old man who is dressed nicely emerges on top of a panel and introduces himself as the referee, who will be in charge of overseeing the tournament. He tells the stone-cold killer lads to swallow some big diamonds. After they all swallow, he reveals that these gems contain poison that will kill them after 12 hours of consumption. The old man further explains that the game winner must get all the gems from the other contenders before the 12-hour mark. He adds that the winner will get both an antidote for the poison and a wish for anything they want. One contender called Monkey believes the best plan would be to work together. Boar thinks her positive plan won't be accepted, since the game is a battle royal, meaning one person must get out alive to win. That said, Monkey claims nobody needs to die, for her plan revolves around wishing everyone back to life. Some players in the tournament think that it's a good idea, so they raise their hand to be on her team. But when the psychotic rabbit raises his, they all dip out, as they don't trust him. Soon after, the floor beneath their feet crashes. While the competitors fall several levels in the tower and scatter, Boar finds herself in a classic Mexican standoff against Rabbit. She is confident in her skill, thinking she can kill Rabbit by outsmarting and luring the poor guy to a close range, to then spray him with bullets, as we can see in her mental image. Yet the beautiful psycho girl soon finds reality is so often disappointing when suddenly the headless body of Snake swoops from behind and holds her. Realizing too late the bunny is using necromancy, Rabbit stabs the busty lady right in her chest. But fear not, although she is dead, Boar is still with us as a mindless puppet. Meanwhile, Rat and Monkey decide to work together for the time being. They are not sure if they can trust each other, especially when one titled is killing peacefully, while the other is killing all. That said, Home Team goes underground to lay low and plan their next move. Likewise, the other participants find their sweet spot to collect themselves and make a smart strategy to win this game and survive. Speaking about surviving, turns out our boy dog is capable of creating an antidote to the poison inside his body, giving him a major advantage time-wise. So while chilling in a parking lot admiring his ability, Doggo remembers the good old times when he used to attack gangs that didn't know how his bite worked. Suddenly, he snaps back to reality when he hears a noise. Using his eyes, nose, and ears, the dog boy detects something that turns out to be Chicken, who pops her head from behind a car. Dog boy was not only scared, but also on his toes ready to fight. However, the chicken chick had other plans in her mind. Meanwhile, underground, Rat Boy is talking to the monkey girl, telling her, "I know you were the person who put the bombs destroying the floor. It was to protect us from the players who were going to act against the team after Rabbit joined. That said, you could have killed them all on the spot, but since you didn't, it was enough for me to trust you." Back in the parking lot, the chicken chick asks Dog Boy to enter an alliance, but he's not interested as he knows there only can be one winner. And besides, he considers her weak, as well as useless, yet he decides to ally himself with Chicken. The little birdie tells him what happened with Boar and Rabbit, revealing her interesting and useful power to control birds by using them to monitor everyone. And with that strategic advantage, they move out as a team, to where a zombie boar is located. Dog concludes that Rabbit made Boar go out alone to use her as bait, so Dog decides to out-crazy the crazy by sending Chicken to destroy the body, sacrificing her in the process. Thus, he bites Chicken's arm, injecting her with a special drug that enhances and boosts her power. In other words, he gave her steroids. And while trying to walk her through the road rage, Chicken so innocently raised her hand, reached for his face, and crushed Doggo's head like grape juice. Elsewhere, we see that Horse meets Ox, and they almost immediately start to fight. Ox is revealed to be a brutal combatant, yet his moves are swift and elegant, like a matador. He unleashes a barrage of attacks, cutting his opponent all over the body, wearing him down. Back with everyone's favorite backstabbing Chicken, now that Dog is dead, the girl takes his gem and walks away joyfully. However, she then recalls her traumatic past and how it led her to this tournament. You see, when Ryoko was a very young kid, she was abused by her parents, so at some point she snapped and killed them beyond recognition. Soon after, Ryuka had severe memory loss and only could communicate with birds. The headmistress of the Niwa family took interest in her abilities and decided to take Ryuka in. Sadly for young Ryuka, her new family is a renowned family of assassins, so instead of giving her the warm love she never knew, they threw her into war zones where she developed her combat skills and into secret missions where she developed her backstabbing, cunning persona. Back to the present time, Chicken is following Zombie Boar like a vulture. Using her birds, she attacks from all sides at the same time, but Boar, even in her zombie state, is no easy snack as she uses her unmatched gun skill to shoot down dozens, if not hundreds of birds. However, as the birds become very aggressive surrounding her, Boar gets overwhelmed and falls to the little birdies, who eat every ounce of flesh on her body, leaving nothing but bones. After the battle ended, Chicken went to a store to enjoy her victory with a bag of rice. There she ran into Rat, who went out to grab some snacks for himself and Monkey. He reminds her about the time. She raised her hand to enter an alliance and offers to lead her to Monkey. While chit-chatting on the way, Chicken wonders what the guy deal is, since our boy is casually walking with his back wide open for an attack. When they arrive at the hiding spot, Rat shuts his eyes almost immediately, as usual. Monkey asks Chicken about what happened on the surface in a friendly manner, so the backstabbing bird updates her about everything, making Chicken question her own actions on why she's telling her all that and not striking from the back while she has the perfect opportunity. Monkey asks her to stay, but she apologizes and leaves in shock, scolding herself that she didn't kill everyone when she had the chance. Her confusion, however, soon comes to an end when she encounters a wild ox who is covered in blood. Realizing she can't win against Ox, even though he just finished a battle, Chicken starts calculating every possible way and route to survive. That said, her calculations are not going smoothly after her last interaction with Monkey. Left with no choice but to fight a one-on-one honorable match, the Chicken Lady loses it pretty fast, as the Ox Boy was fast as frick, stabbing her right in the eyes. Rat tells Monkey that Chicken probably died after she left, further adding she is the only one to blame. He then tells the Thick Lady, with lots of participants falling, her plan for saving everyone is not gonna work. Monkey optimistically states that she is still planning to move forward with her strategy and end the battle. The Mad Lad then takes a nap while Monkey reflects on her past. Yuki was trained on a mountain by monkeys for several years till she achieved the highest level, aka the ability to transmute the physical states of objects. Now in the present, we see Rat and Monkey arguing, as Rat thinks it would have been a much better plan if Monkey used her power to stop the conflict herself. However, Monkey disagrees with this, saying, even if lots of people die, I still think there is a chance to have peace through non-extreme methods. Their conversation gets cut short when Monkey sensed something in the tunnel. Upon taking a closer look into the darkness, Rat notices it's a zombie bird, realizing the rabbit is behind it. They make a run for it. While a flock of zombie birds that got killed in the boar fight chases after them, first to exit from the sewers was Monkey, who got jumped by a headless snake wielding Rabbit's mashie. Luckily, she manages to dodge all the attacks and disarms the weapon, which Rabbit picks up, ready to fight a 2 versus 2 battle to the death with his headless puppet. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, we see the fine-dressed gentleman draw a couple, explaining the rules of the Zodiac tournament to faceless figures. These figures seem to vary from influential people and rich people to politicians and national leaders. Tapun Duodekupo recaps everything that has happened in the tournament so far, in which contestants are still alive and fighting. He also analyzes the chances of different contestants winning. He then lists all the contestants that acquired other gems needed to win the game, stating that Ox and Rabbit are the strongest of all the Zodiac warriors, making them a safe bet for the investors. However, he does mention that Monkey and Sheep are still in the fight and are very lethal fighters if the investors want to put money on them, especially the Sheep who won the 9th tournament 3 decades ago. Talking about the old veteran, we see him hiding in a safe spot, calculating his next move. The old man concludes that his best strategy is to let fighters end each other before going out, which is currently happening outside. Thus, the old G doesn't even bother moving and sits tight inside while he fondly recalls the time he was spending with his baby grandchild. During that memory, he narrates some of his younger adventures to the little kid. In the past, Hitsuji was a weapons dealer that took no BS from anyone. If a customer didn't pay in cash, he blows the deal literally and figuratively. Soon after, he got married and became a part of the powerful Tsuji family. After becoming part of the family, he participated on their behalf in the tournament, which he won by exploding the spaceship in which the previous tournament was held, and now the old man is taking part in this war to relieve his grandchild from the burden and responsibility of the savage tournament. Back at the battlefield, Rat was chasing Zombie Snake's body, till it turned on him and opened fire, prompting Rat Boy to turn the other way and run. Meanwhile, the battle between Rabbit and Monkey is getting more fierce as we see the Psycho attacking the waifu head-on. Although Monkey was able to dodge all the attacks with ease, she was too naive by trying to talk some sense into the killer Rabbit's head, which made her fall into his trap. You see, the drag queen was pretending that he was listening for Chicken's birds to attack from behind. Now back to the safe spot, we find out that Sheep did not swallow the poisoned gem, but instead put it in his beard. This gave him an advantage time-wise since he is no longer restricted by the 12 hours limit, yet just like Dog, who believed he also was not restricted by time. Sheep has another participant on his tail, Ox, who after fighting Horse left him alive but with a broken spirit. And he plans to do the same with Sheep, but the old-timer is wiser, as he uses a C4 to create a distraction for him to run for the next spot. Calculating his moves, Sheep head out to a nearby park where Tiger is sleeping, so he pulls a grenade to finish her fast, but gets startled when she calls him out. Although Sheep doesn't believe a drunken Tiger would be able to win against him, he still doesn't want to fight and risk any unnecessary injuries. That said, he has no choice as this kitten is getting angry. Speaking about kittens, Horse decided to hide inside a bank vault till the fighting ends, which happens in one battle. As Monkey was running after Rabbit, he jumped back and tried to take off her head, but Monkey dodged. She was way overthinking and didn't see the daggers coming from down below, impaling her. While Monkey falls, she realizes that Rabbit managed to pull such an advanced maneuver due to Snake's head on a tree close by watching out for him like eyes in the back of his head. Elsewhere, Sheep starts creating all kinds of plans to defeat what he perceives as a very weak, intoxicated Tiger. So he introduces himself, ready to win this easy fight. However, when she introduces herself as Tiger, killing in a drunken rage, the old man's eyes widen up, realizing he screwed up. Sheep tries to make sense of his situation, but before he could move a finger, Tiger leaps and kills him in a brutal move that was too clean. It sent the gem flying off him. Witnessing this, Dudikoopel announces the beginning of the final betting stage on the 6 remaining fighters, and the VIP members put their money on the participants, but not on Horse, who was trying to just survive inside a bank vault after his fighting spirit got destroyed by Ox. He further falls into his cowardly state when Rat appears beside him and informs the big love that Monkey is dead and so the chances of peace. Before leaving, Rat warns Horse about Rabbit and Snake, telling him he should move out as Snake is closing on the vault. However, Horse, being too scared to fail again, decides to stay in, which evidently proved to be a big mistake. Snake arrives at the bank and burns it down, trapping Horse in his safe vault that now turned into a deadly gas chamber. Rabbit sees the smoke from afar, realizing Snake found something. He heads there with his new quote-unquote zombie monkey. And while they head there, we return to the beginning of the Zodiac tournament. We see a very alive Snake with his brother Dragon, heading to the meetup peacefully. By the way, no need to mention that the dynamic duo is twins. They've worked together since day one, entering and stealing impossible to get treasures. The leaders of the Snake and Dragon clans had no other choice but to choose them as their representatives in the Zodiac tournament, bringing us back to the meetup location where they first come into contact with Rabbit. At first, Rabbit seems harmless, and they do not think he will be a danger. Well, that was until Snake put his guard down when he felt Monkey Underground setting the bombs, which ultimately cost him his head. Speaking about the devil, we see Zombie Monkey going inside the vault to retrieve Horse's body. In the meantime, Tiger comes against Snake, so needless to say, when Tiger goes on the attack, she easily manages to take off Snake's arm and gas tank to drink to her fullest. Satisfied, she leaves Snake to continue his mission of finding Rat Boy. However, the poor headless bastard can't catch a break as he comes across Ox, who serves his other hand, dropping him on the ground like a worm. Sensing that Ox is near, Tiger goes back to challenge the unstoppable Matador. And although the man wants to finish his job, the kitty cat leaves him no option but to postpone it since she seems pretty angry for some reason. Sadly though, this anticipated matchup is pushed back when Snake's arms come crawling back to choke them. Unable to brute strength his way out, Ox started using his head to look for a way out, which he was able to find through Tiger's alcoholic secretions. Thus, when Ox threw his sword, he was able to make fire burning the hands. Ox then took to count that Horse's body remained lifeless after being burnt to a crisp. Hence, he deduces that if they burn the bodies, the zombies will perish. Meanwhile, after witnessing his brother's body doing work on the 2 strongest fighters, Dragon vowed to do a memorial service for his brother as a thank you for boosting his odds in the tournament. Back on the ground, Zombie Monkey sent something off, so she looks around and finds nothing, but then she looks at the sky and throws Snake's head. Rabbit follows it, lunging to the sky like a madman to find Dragon and split him in half, sending him down to the battleground to help his zombie brother, turning the fight to a 4 versus 2 handicap match. But as usual, before any major showdown, we go to Memory Land, This time we're following how Tora became the Tiger candidate. After becoming the strongest fighter at her father's dojo, Tora got sent to war so she can complete her transition and become a warrior. And as you expected, a young girl alone on the battlefield, killing dozens of men, wasn't too light on her psyche. And although the army honored and praised her actions, young Tora is still depressed, so her only way to cope with such a traumatic experience was through drinking excessively, till she was not able to walk back home. Incidentally, this destructive behavior led young Tora to discover her now lethal technique, the Tiger Stance. Now back to the present, Ox and Tiger realize that they cannot fight while Rabbit is still alive. Hence, they first decide to stop his puppets. Realizing that Dragon has a liquid nitrogen tank on him, Ox tells Tiger they can use it to destroy the bodies for good. Luckily, Tiger managed to snatch the tank from Dragon's back and then throw it to freeze all the zombies. With the puppets defeated, the puppet master emerges from the shadows, introducing himself with no fear, ready for a fight to the death. When he leaped, Rabbit bit his lips for some reason before getting shredded between Tiger's claws and Ox's sword, clearing the arena for the final showdown, but before that, story time. Once upon a time, when young Tora was heading to the next battlefield drunk, she arrived late. As a result, she witnessed Ox fighting and killing everything on sight so elegantly. After finishing the lads, he went to this unknown drunk lady to make sure she was safe and unharmed. Amused, Tiger played along, pretending she was just a little girl. She asked him how one can know and do the right thing, so Ox replies, "First I say, want to do the right thing, then I do the right thing, that's it." Even though it sounded simple enough, young Tiger knew this philosophy was way too much for her to follow through. Therefore, step by step, Tora started improving her strength as well as power in combat, and more importantly, improving her strength of character till someday she meets her idol and challenges him to a duel. Fast forward a couple of years and the Zodiac tournament began. Tiger recognized Ox from the past, but he did not, which made Tiger mad since Ox meant a lot to her due to his impact on her life. And so, here we are in the present time, where she's finally facing her man. Sadly though, like all Psycho characters, Bunny Boy came back from the dead to control his severed arms and backstab Ox. In that instance, Tiger made a decision to jump and save Ox on her life expanse, something she's proud of. Rabbit continues to attack with all he got, and we meme with all that he got. This bunny was way too mad to stay down. Thus, Ox picks up Tiger and runs away as he doesn't want to be a part of this voodoo shit while he has a cute girl lying on the ground, mortally wounded. While running away, Ox concludes that when Rabbit bit his lip, he must have cursed himself to come back and fight from beyond the grave. Later, the lovebirds stop to rest at a nearby park. Their Tiger asks Ox to kill her since she does not want to become a zombie puppet like the rest. With no other option, Ox agrees to honor his dying comrade by introducing himself and challenging her to a proper duel, so she can die a warrior death. But before he releases her from this world, Ox wants to know if he and Tiger met in the past, as she seems very angry at him. Tiger states that she's not angry and brush it as normal rival behavior, not admitting her feeling to him. With that out of the way, when Ox struck the girl with his sword, Tiger passed away with a smile on her face, thankful that she finally faced her mentor and idol in a proper duel. Feeling sad and not knowing how to act, Ox deduces he must be feeling like that because she reminds him of the little drunk girl he met on the battlefield long ago. However, these emotions shift to confusion trying to figure out how to deal with the psycho zombie Rabbit, as his sword skill won't be enough and starting a fire fast is not possible. Especially since Rabbit has arrived looking more monstrous than ever. Thus, the ferocious sword fight begins, and even though the Matador is cutting the crazy bunny boy down piece by piece, he realizes it's gonna be a much harder fight and might take days. While thinking about his next move, the righteous last hope gets jumped and pinned down by Zombie Monkey, who was hiding inside Rabbit after she assembled him back. Realizing this is the end, Ox gives up and prepares for his death. To his surprise, Rat suddenly arrives at the scene, walking casually with no care at the world, revealing that he has found Sheep's most powerful bomb. And with Rabbit not being able to move and Monkey's fixation on holding down Ox, Rat has come at the perfect moment to blow all the remaining contenders and win the tournament. He tells Ox, "For what it's worth, I wouldn't be holding the bomb if it weren't for Tiger killing Sheep." This info put Ox's mind at ease, accepting fate with a smile and wishing the best for Rat before going out with a bang. Now, after being crowned as the winner, Rat sits with good old Daughter Kupel, who is congratulating him. The old G asks Rat for an interview about his experience in the tournament and how he was able to win. Rat, however, isn't interested as it was a very traumatic experience, which he wishes to forget. Thus, the champ decides to leave via the elevator, but the cord holding it gets destroyed, dropping our boy to his death, or so we thought. Turns out, Rat Boy is still at the office sitting with Daughter Couple. Asking him for the interview, the champ refuses and leaves, taking the stairs this time, but the old G appears from behind him and pushes him down. The same thing happens again. He stands up, not saying a word, and runs out only to be crushed by a metal post. Later we see him dying via electrocuting, a car crash, getting shot, implied, blown up, beaked by birds, and so on. Turns out he was running these simulations in his head and died 40 times in them every time he refused to do the interview, so he accepted to do it and locked the option. The old man asks him how he won despite not doing much. Rat Boy explains he won the tournament by running his strategy and best optimal choices through 100 simulations at the same time. After the interview ended, the old G bids Rat farewell and tells him that when he finds out what his wish is, feel free to contact him. And so the champ leaves the office safely. After the tourney ended and the city returned to normal, we see Rat in his high school uniform contemplating his wish. Going back to his school feels strange to him. We learn that Rat's true name is Nezumi. He does not have many friends and he's shunned by his classmates, so when he goes into his classroom he playfully imagines how they would die if he wished for it. Nezumi then decides to ask a girl from the class if she had one wish, what would it be? She tells him that she would wish for everyone's happiness. Nezumi then remembers his conversation with Monkey and how inspiring she was. Later, Nezumi realizes that he is the only tournament competitor with no wish in mind. And to make matters worse, every time Nezumi thinks about his possible wish, he comes up with another reason why it's bad. Unable to come up with something, Boy Wonder recalls what the other competitors' wishes were during his simulations. Sheep wanted eternal life and youth. Chicken wanted to have more confidence in herself. Horse wanted talent since he was suffering from an inferiority complex. Boar wanted to wish for a harem of millions of men. Snake and Dragon wanted money. Yet in truth they didn't want to seek money but seek a greater purpose in life. Rabbit wanted to become friends with everyone in the whole world. Tiger wanted to meet Ox again, which she achieved. And when it came to Ox, the Matador pulled an Uno card and asked him what his wish would be. And due to the lack of life experiences and having no purpose or any wants and needs, the champ starts losing his mind. While trying to figure out what he wants during his breakdown, Duet Couple appears behind him, asking what his wish would be. Yet Nezumi is stuck in his head. Subdunacle tells him that he can wish for another 100 wishes, or whatever he wants, he can do anything. Ignoring the old G advice, Nezumi looks up at him with tears in his eyes, wishing for peace and quiet, or to put it in other words, the boy wished that he forget about his wish. Duodecouple compliments his sincere wish because it was not only made with a pure heart, but also what he actually wanted. The following day, Rab returns to school, going straight to his desk to take a well-earned nap. The boys see he's just taking his usual nap, but his one girlfriend notes how he seems happier than usual and more content with life. And just like that, the show ends with Nezumi sleeping, wearing a faint smile on his face.